through the corrections for the work that I posted for you to do on Monday. So we can see, let's start off with this, the question 1, where we had to fill in our table. Nice and straightforward, I hope. So you were given quarter turn, half turn, 3/4 turn and a full turn, and you had to name the degrees that go with that, name the angle, and then a diagram of what that might look like. So nice and straightforward. We got 90 degrees, which is a right angle, and we can use these two diagrams to represent that. So either your corner with a little L inside, or your corner with a little square on the inside to show that that's happening. So that's nice and simple there, and you can see we can do the same for 180 degrees as a straight angle, and you're given the diagram for that. 270, sorry, should have my little degrees sign there. 270 degrees, and again, it doesn't have a specific name on it, but I suppose a 270 degree angle is a reflex angle, even though that's not specific, if you understand what I mean. And I was just giving you a quick diagram what that might look like, and then a full one is 360. So that's those. The next ones we are given, you had to draw the diagram based around the info that was shown to you. So we were asked to do an obtuse, a reflex angle, and an ordinary angle. You were asked in this one to use X, Y, and Z, which I have done. Y is at the vertex or in the center, and as I said, for the description, an obtuse angle is an angle that is greater than 90 degrees but less than 180. Nice and straightforward. The next one is a reflex angle. You can see larger than 180. Larger than 180 but less than 360. And I asked you to use that Greek letter. It looks like a little fish, but it's a Greek letter alpha. Okay. So I asked you to put that in the diagram, and you can see I've done that. So that is the Greek letter alpha. And then finally an ordinary angle with the number 1 in it, as I asked you to do that. So you can see any ordinary angle is any angle between 0 and 180 degrees. So any kind of acute or obtuse angle, really. So that's all that was expected there. Question 3, you were given diagrams. All you had to do was name the angle, and name them in the correct way that you could. Part 1 was done for you, so you can see it's the angle ABC. Or imagine if we've got the angle drawn like that, A, B, and C, and the angle that we're talking about is in there. We can name that the angle ABC. You could also call it the angle CBA if you wanted to, because we're going start to middle to end, or start to middle to end. Either way. We can also just use the letter at the vertex, which is B, which is the middle part, or at the corner, if you want to think about it that way. So you were asked to do that, and as I said, I've given you all your answers there. You could have 2 different ones with the 3 letters for the start, or you can use the vertex letter. So I've done that in both instances there. That one's DFE or EFD, and then the angle is F. For question 3, part B, you were given these 2 diagrams, one with the angle on the inside, one with the angle on the outside. Now they're the same because you can see we're using the letters P and Q and R in both instances. So it's the same line, it's just the angle is drawn differently. So if I put the 2 of those together, if you can imagine, if I put the 2 of those together, if that's R, Q and P, R and Q and P, and I put angle 1 together with angle 2, you can imagine that the 2 of those together, angle 1 plus angle 2, they would come together to give you 360 degrees, because it's a full circle, isn't it? So if I combine those 2 together, that would be 360 degrees. So that's what I've drawn, or that's what I've explained here. Okay, the info that we need to know. We have to know the length of one of those 2 angles to work out what the other one is. So for example, I'll just redo this up here for you so we can see it carefully or clearly. If you had, or you knew that angle 1 was 120 degrees, let's say. If I knew that that was 120, then I could use that to work out what angle 2 was. I could use that to work out what the green one is. So as I said, if I know that that's 120 over here, then I could do 360, which is the full circle, minus the 120 of angle 1, and that would tell me what angle 2 is, which in this case would be 240 degrees. But it doesn't tell me in the problem, okay? It doesn't tell me in the problem which either of those. It doesn't tell me what that angle is or what that angle is. So I need to know one of them to work out the other one. And as I've just said, we cannot measure either without knowing one of the other two. Now, we could use a protractor to do it, but it doesn't give us that kind of information. We don't know that it's drawn exactly the scale in that question. So that's the piece of info that we'd need to know to work out what the other angle is. And then finally, question 4, they gave you angles. All you had to do was name them, and I've given you the 2 possible answers for each of those. So hopefully that is a bit clearer. I saw a few people have put up work and had a couple of issues with a few bits. So hopefully that makes things clearer. Thank you very much.